So here's what Charlie Kirk tweeted. Every single allegation against Russell Brand concerns events that took place 20 years ago or more. I can already smell the conspiracy being cooked up. None of them existed while he was a famous actor or comedian. All of them emerged once he became a highly visible dissident on politics and COVID. Smells like a conspiracy. Brand has been forthright about his behavior as a young man. But the idea that he was a serial rapist is absurd and, more importantly, completely unprovable. Okay, so first of all, how old is Russell Brand? Russell Brand is 49 years old. Yeah, so so he's 50 years old, and I love how they're trying to do the thing like he was a baby boy. He was a baby boy, and he wasn't perfect as a baby boy, but he was not a serial rapist. He was not a serial rapist baby boy. Okay, because he was just a baby boy. And so the thing about Russell Brand is that, first of all, he was 30 years old. Roughly 30 on average when the allegations against him, when these incidents took place. Yeah, he's just a baby boy. Second of all, somebody like Russell Brand does not stop abusing people. It's not that his only abuse happened in this period of time, that the allegations which were made public that led to criminal charges filed against him, that those date back to. It's like this weird, it's like trying to do this dumb logic of, first of all, he was a baby boy. Okay. He was a young baby boy he was promiscuous. He wasn't perfect. But these were from so long ago. So just by that fact, they're not true because they were so long ago. Like, why didn't they come out earlier? Yada, yada, yada. That's the classic from the playbook. But also that these allegations are the only times that Russell Brand was sexually abusive versus these are just the allegations that were made public and that have now led to subsequent criminal charges. Yeah, it's been a while. It doesn't count anymore. Anyway, Charlie ends his tweet with, "This is a political prosecution, plain and simple." Yeah, I'm politically prosecuting him because he looks like shit too. It's not just a piece of shit. He looks like shit. He's got crazy fucking eyes.
News out of the UK. London's Metropolitan Police has charged actor and comedian Russell Brand with rape as well as multiple counts of assault. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams is following the developments for us out of the UK in our London newsroom. So Holly, this sort of broke just a couple of hours ago. What more can you tell us about these charges?
Good morning, Vlad. Well, the British police said in a statement that Russell Brand has been charged with rape, indecent assault and sexual assault. The charges relate to 4 separate women. All of the alleged incidents occurred here in the UK, and they date back to between 1999 and 2005. Now, as you'll remember, Russell Brand starred in several Hollywood films, including perhaps most famously Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He was briefly married to Katy Perry between 2010 and 2012. And more recently, he became a sort of self-help guru with his own podcast. Here in the UK, he originally made his name as a stand-up comedian. The British police say they began investigating in September 2023, and they say they received a number of allegations after the British media reported claims of sexual assault made by multiple women. At the time, Brand strongly refuted all of the allegations, saying that while he had been promiscuous in the past, all of his relationships were consensual, and he has continued to maintain his innocence.
Wait, why can't I pause? Oh. The thing about Russell Brand is that when the allegations came out, they were surprising to no one because he's been a scumfuck, but also because his comedy, so much of his comedy and his stage presence was talking about how he is awful to women. Like it was kind of like the Louis C.K. thing where he'd talk all the time about masturbating, but he doesn't like to masturbate alone, where he would joke about his obsession with masturbating in front of women. And then it turned out to be that actually was what he was doing, and it was not consensual. And it's kind of this idea with comedians, for example, that if you make your brand the thing that you actually do in real life, then it kind of provides a cover, because people are like, well, that's just that's how he is. That's his persona. He's always been like that on stage. As in, like, that means then that it's either acceptable to be that way in real life, or that it's just a shtick, and they're confusing his public persona with they're confusing the shtick of his persona with what he's now been accused of having actually done. Neil Gaiman did that too with his characters. Yeah, there's a lot of examples of abusive men who, through their art, be it comedy, fictional writing, movies, Woody Allen, that they're kind of putting it out there in the open. And then it's like when allegations come out, when their behavior is revealed, it's like you point to their work and you go, yeah, it's kind of right there all along. Create some doubt. Maybe they're confused because that's his character. Yes, and I'll show you an example of
In February,
this.
Brand attended an event at Mar-a-Lago hosted by Mike Flynn, who served as National Security Advisor during the first Trump administration. CBS News has reached out to Russell Brand's representatives for comment on the charges.
So then what happens next, Holly?
So the British police say that Russell Brand will appear at a magistrate's court on the 2nd of May, where it's expected he'll be asked to enter a plea. The police say that the investigation remains open, and they've urged anyone else who may have information to come forward. Vlad.
All right, Holly Williams reporting.
Okay, so what we were just talking about, let me show an example. So this is a clip from 60 Minutes Australia. What year was this? 2012. This was from 2012, okay? Watch this.
Tricky little swine, I'm a trickster. I'm a raven, I'm a playful coyote, looking for mischief.
When you interview...
Yeah, see, so that's how Russell Brand always was. He's like, yeah, I'm a trickster. I get up to trouble. Like, I'm no good.
Russell Brand, you actually don't really know who's going to turn up.
This isn't crystal meth, that's literally a crystal. If you smoke that, all you'll get is enlightened.
The more you say don't, the more he does. That's Russell.
So it was like an alpine mountain range stabbing up into my nuts.
When I first started talking to him, I thought, oh, Russell's going to be smart-ass Russell. Then he suddenly took a shine to me, and he became most enjoyable to be around.
Is this the interview now?
This is
You're just
it.
going to
Are
lean
you
in.
ready?
That's how it indicates the commencement.
Mr. Russell Brand!
At 37, Russell Brand, a former heroin and sex addict and recovering alcoholic, has enjoyed extraordinary success.
My personality doesn't work without fame.
He's a really smart man, and
For the life of me, I can't remember when Russell began his career as an alt-right pundit during the pandemic, or was he always an op? We will talk about that, but it was... I don't know if people know this, but like once upon a time, and it wasn't that long ago that he started grifting to the right, he had a total rebrand of his YouTube content in 2020, and that's when he started leaning into like conspiracy theories, right-wing shit, specifically COVID misinformation. But for years, he was involved in political activism. He was talking about climate change. He would talk about corporate greed, the evils of capitalism, yada, yada. And it was not until COVID when he started to grift to the right. And now over the last 4 or 5 years, he has fully completed the grift. And that includes, like, this is crazy. Okay. In 2009, I think it was, in 2009, he was one of the celebrities that condemned Israel's assault on Gaza. And he talked about the cruel and massive loss of life of the citizens of Gaza. He also was defending the leaders of the Baha'i faith who were on trial in Iran around the same time. And then now you fast forward to this right-wing grift of his, and he's all up Israel's ass, right? He's a total Zionist, even though it's obviously all part of the grift. And people like Charlie Kirk, Russell Brand himself, his defenders on the right, will have you believe that it's not a grift. It's that Russell Brand started speaking the truth, and then the allegations came out about him. But there's also another way to look at it. One, Russell Brand's career had declined. Like, he did not enjoy the popularity that he once did. And that he knew he was going to be facing very serious allegations that would be made public. And so, as we have seen time and time again, you just start grifting to the right. Because then when shit comes out about you, you go, oh, they're coming after me because I'm a truth teller. The media is collaborating to destroy me because of the things that I'm saying. It's classic. Yes, it's classic. You get to just promote conspiracy theories and avoid accountability, because now you get to say that, oh, you didn't actually do these bad things. The reason that they're doing this to you is because they don't like what you're saying and they want to shut you up.
I think in amongst it all is a very decent man. He has a lot of humanity. He cares. So there's a whole lot packed into Russell. What is a nice English boy like you doing in a place like Hollywood?
Well, a lot of yoga, occasionally making films, making television.
But it was a place that
Always gave me cult leader vibes too.
I don't think you ever thought you would get to.
Like, do you just mean because of criminal convictions and stuff? And I'd like to remind you, before you go any further on that subject, that you are Australian.
Happy Russell put me into his little golf buggy and we were going to do some B-roll.
I've been in a lot of trouble.
The worst driver
I keep getting in trouble. The police keep getting involved in my driving. It's not good.
Ridiculous Russell took the wheel.
See, okay, so what she's doing is she's basically like, there's all these different Russells, but like at his core, Russell, he's got this humanity, and he's such a character, right?
Russell can't drive very well, it turns out. And then Russell declared that he was going to take me on a unauthorised trip around the lot. Russell, you are a naughty boy.
Oh, yeah, I am. There's a tape here, but what happens if you drive through it?
Crazy Russell started crashing into sets.
You're not going to be in here. I know what this TV programme is. Sorry.
So just arrest sexual assault, Russell.
Stuck, Liz. We're stuck on a set of a
This is
show
the hot
that
woman
we
in the painting
don't
behind me.
fully-
It's
don't
Farley.
know what the show is.
I want you to know I was abducted by Russell Brand. You seem to be a little naughty boy from the beginning.
You said that in a flirtatious way.
I did. What was it, do you think? I mean, there was just something rebellious inside of you, or?
I don't trust
Like, do you see like all this normalizing though, where it's like, oh, he's a naughty boy. He's like, you're flirting with me.
authority. In my experience, authority figures have been unreliable. So for me, when people are saying don't do something, I sort of think, well, why? I sort of question authority figures.
You still have that?
Yes.
He understands entertainment. He's a comedian. He's an over-the-top performer. He likes to shock. That's his thing. And he does it so well.
It's
classified
just all shock.
as
It's all
sex
shock value.
I'm going to blush, but What's too much?
I can't hurt you from there, Liz.
What is too much?
Oh yeah, you guys, are people not aware that he was buddies with Diddy? And he literally is a way to try and acknowledge that he was buddies with Diddy, but wasn't doing any of like those sex criminal stuff. He's like, no, it was boring though. Like, yeah, I went to those parties, but it was boring. It's like, okay, dude. Speed, thank you so much for the 10. They were in a movie together.
Well,
Yeah.
look, so with this addiction, I think what it is any behaviour that you engage in compulsively, even though it's detrimental to your life. If when you're taking drugs or eating chocolate or having sex, it's making your life worse, and yet you cannot stop, that's addiction, and you should look at it.
How is it destructive for you?
Well, if you're sleeping with so many people that you can't get to work, or you're not being properly discerning about who the people are that you're sleeping with, people sort of, then eventually you're going to get into trouble. Just there's a numbers game, isn't it? Sooner or later, it's going to be a married person, or you're going to pick up something.
Or it's going to be a 16-year-old girl who you were abusive to. Yeah.
Unforgivable. And unrelenting.
Forced
I've been very, very
into
lucky.
a sexual
Seasoned
relationship.
as I am, as a journalist, I am prepared for all events and all kinds of people. And when Russell Brand decided he would like to kiss me, well, you size up the situation. You think,
What?
Am I in danger? What's going to go here? What could go wrong?
Liz, that's your fault. Because you took your eye off the road because things was getting a bit fruity out there. All right, Liz, goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's been really a wonderful sleep.
The naughty Russell.
Like, what the fuck? What do you mean you're looking back and you're like, yeah, I mean, you size up, like, am I going to be in danger because he's naughty Russell and he's going to do what he wants to do? Yeah, like the media dubbed him, they dubbed him Shagger of the Year. Like he was not hiding the fact that he was a total piece of shit. Like that was his whole thing. That was his whole thing. And then he would do stuff like this and get away with it.
End of the day. Do I have to tell you?
See you later, Liz.
Like,
Russell.
All right, take care.
Russell, I can undo your bra just like this. Liz, I love you.
No, Russell's a performer. So in my...
oh my God. Do you see what I'm saying though? That she keeps being like, well, he's a performer. That's naughty Russell. There's all the different types of Russells. But like, so, even though I didn't really consent to that, he's a performer. He's silly. He's a naughty, silly boy. Like this is a journalist who's interviewing him.
My opinion, Russell, there are many Russells, and I think the at-home Russell is probably exhausted. I reckon Russell's put so much energy into shocking me that he's now had to go home and have a lie down with a cup of tea and put some meditation music on and do some yoga because he puts a lot of energy into shocking people.
Right. Okay. So that mindset there is what I was talking about earlier, where because Russell was so egregiously inappropriate, promiscuous, sexually, would sexually harass and touch anyone that he wanted to and would then joke about it on stage, that it was like a cover for him where it went, but that's the performer Russell. I bet the real Russell, not the naughty Russell, not this silly Russell, whatever these Russells are, the real Russell at home he's just a guy. Like it's all just for show. When it turns out the real Russell is sexual predator Russell.